My parents divorced when I, 20 female, was 5 years old. My dad remarried in a few years. My stepmom had 2 kids before she married my dad. Jace was already an adult and out of the house. Emmy was a child, now 18 female. Jace was closer to his dad than my stepmom, while Emmy only ever had my stepmom. She was like an excited puppy when my dad and stepmom met. She was really into me and was looking for us to be super close. It was a little much and she hated it when I'd be at my mom's house and tried to get invited over pretty often. My dad got me a lock so I could protect my bedroom at his house when I was with mom. I was 50-50 with my parents, so I'd be gone for a week at a time, which seemed risky to have an overexcited kid who wasn't happy about me being gone having access while I wasn't there. I tolerated the overexcited parts of Emmy because we got along for the most part when my stepmom stepped in and reminded Emmy she didn't get to have my attention 24/7. But things went south a couple of years after my dad and stepmom got married. I was sick and couldn't get out of bed, and Emmy was told to leave me alone, but she didn't. When she tried to make me get up and play with her, I snapped and told her to leave me alone. She cried and told me I was the worst sister and asked why I never wanted to hang out with her. My stepmom came and pulled her out of the room. When I was better, my dad and stepmom did a sit-down talk for the 4 of us and told Emmy she was wrong to bother me when I was sick. She ignored them and said she wanted to hang out with me and be best friends, but I only wanted her around sometimes. I told her I have my own life and I don't want her to always be attached to me. She cried and my stepmom talked to her more about respecting my space, but she decided if I wouldn't be her sister like she wanted, then she would be mad at me. I stopped trying to spend time with her and focused on my friends. Emmy hated me for it, but I never loved spending time with her. I was mostly being nice, but I didn't want the needy energy around all the time. In retaliation, she trashed my room a year and a half later. She broke my school laptop, my cell phone, several photos, tore up a few of my books and tore the stuffy that my late aunt bought for me. I refused to stay at my dad 50% after that. I still saw him, but I wanted to be as far away from Emmy as possible. I've been in really low contact with her since. When I was in my senior year of high school, my mom was diagnosed with cancer and she died on my 18th birthday. I inherited a really healthy amount from her and a house that I sold, as per mom's instructions, and found a place to call my own. I haven't spent much of the money, maybe $500 in 2 years, and that was to help while I struggled with the money from my job and I was figuring out what I wanted. My dad knew about the money, but not the exact amount. Same with my stepmom. They still don't know how much I have. Emmy's graduating this summer and she plans to attend college. She won't be eligible for any scholarships and my dad and stepmom don't have much money to help her. My stepmom wanted me to give Emmy some money for college as a gift to help her out. I shut down that idea immediately and told her I wasn't about to give Emmy free money. I told her we might have been kids when everything happened, but I wasn't about to forget or reward her for it. My stepmom said I should work on improving my relationship with Emmy. She still wanted a sister. Then she suggested I loan her some money so she'd have fewer student loans for college. She mentioned that to Emmy too, and Emmy sent me this plan of how much I could give and when she could start paying it back. I shut that down too and said it wouldn't happen. I also blocked Emmy. My stepmom pushed the issue and I told Dad. He asked if there was any way I'd reconsider and I said no. He said he'd talk to them, but my stepmom is still bugging me about it. She told me I should help my sister and all this. I bit back a retort about Emmy not being my sister, but I typically get along with my stepmom, so I was trying to be less mean about that. But she was really angry that I wouldn't consider either option, not even when she offered to pay the legal fees to obligate Emmy to pay me back. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If Emmy wants the money, the same advantage you have to start her life, she can go through the trauma and loss you have to get it. You guys aren't close, you haven't been, and your stepmom's swooping in to expect it to come from your mother's estate? Absolutely not, and the spineless, cowering behaviour of your father is disgraceful. I'm so sorry. You don't deserve this, so do not give in. This will open Pandora's box and they will feel entitled to demand your money and freebies from you constantly. I absolutely agree with you. OP's mother's estate is OP's own and no one else is entitled to it. Emmy and her stepmom trying to guilt her into sharing something that came from her loss is completely unfair. Her father's lack of support makes this even worse. OP owes nobody anything. I feel so bad because everyone, but the OP, seems to forget that the person only has money because a parent died. If they actually plan to repay the loans, it shouldn't matter if Emmy borrows the money from you or from a bank. Either way, it's still student loans, right? So your dad and stepmother can go co-sign on Emmy's loans to help her pay for school, and/or she can work and pay some expenses herself. Yeah? And there you have it. She's not planning to repay this loan because otherwise she'd just get regular school loans. Keep shutting it down and do not give in. The parents need to figure out college, not you. My cousin is known for making chili, and he's good at it. He makes his own chili flakes from his secret combination of various dried chilies. It has a very nice kick. It's like the perfect amount of spice. It's hot, but not too hot. He also always adds kidney beans, not canned beans either. Anyway, for the past 2 or 3 years, my cousin has become obsessed with all this nonsense about what is or isn't woke and how woke things are the end of the world. He's always been a good dude, so I don't know his issue, but he's completely obsessed. It's annoying. So the other weekend I was at his place and he was making his famous chili, so I got the idea for a little prank. I said, "I'm surprised you still put beans in your chili." He was like, "What? Why?" I was like, "Beans in chili is so woke, everyone's saying so." He was like, "What do you mean?" And he was genuinely concerned as if this was something serious. I said something like, "Yeah, beans in chili is woke. The original conservative Texans who made chili only used meat in chili. San Francisco liberals started adding beans to chili in the 60s because so many hippies were vegetarian. Now all the woke scientists are saying beans are a better protein source than meat." He didn't say anything to that. I just kind of assumed he knew I was messing with him and get the joke. We've always messed around with each other and joked about and all, but he was quiet all dinner. Just yesterday I was back again at his place and he was making his chili again. There were no beans. It was a totally different chili. This guy has been making his chili with beans for about 15 years. I was like, "What's up? Where's the beans?" He was like, "I don't mess with that woke crap." I was like, "What?" He was like, "Beans in chili is woke. Even you know that." Everyone else was like, "What? Because what?" I was like, "Dude, I was just messing with you." He got really angry. He dumped his chili in the sink and told everyone to go home. I thought he was pranking me back or something, but he was serious. The dude lost it. He texted me later and said, "I researched this online and it turns out you really were lying to me. Beans are not woke. How could you do this?" We went back and forth a bit. His position is even though we have historically pranked each other, I went too far, that I betrayed him and that I made him question his chili. I tried to ask him if this at all made him think he cared too much about woke. Like, what if beans in chili is woke? So what? He ignored that and demanded I apologise. Did I take this too far? Not the idiot. That's hilarious. He's so fixated on what other people say is woke or not woke that he'll sabotage his own cooking. He handed you that material to prank him on a silver platter, and he needs to get over it. Oh my goodness, this needs to happen a lot more so that people eventually see the idiocy of their anti-woke sentiments. I think I'm going to make cilantro woke because soap. Can we also make any non-stretch clothes woke because comfort? And makeup. Can we make makeup woke because lazy? It's a bigger issue here than beans if this couldn't get him to laugh at himself. Yeah, he went full snowflake over a woke chili. Nice. Next, reacting badly to a joke is woke. Demanding an apology is woke. Anger is woke. That's what feminists do. The dude got gaslit by his own paranoia. Imagine throwing away 15 years of perfect chili over a joke. It seems he does not have the critical thinking skills to realise that any random person on the internet can claim something is woke and influence him. Poor dude is brainwashed. Hopefully it can be some wake-up call. Oh wait, wake up. Haha, maybe not. I have 2 kids, John, who is a young teen, and Kelsey, who is a tween. My daughter Kelsey has always been a tomboy and prefers hanging out with her older brother and my husband. She goes fishing and watches and plays sports with them. Meanwhile, I enjoy gardening and baking. No biggie to me. I love their bond and I'm happy she's close with her brother and dad. My husband's only sister is a single mom and has recently moved to our state with her son, Michael, who's a tween. My husband has been talking about planning a guys trip this summer with him, John and Michael. While my husband was discussing with John, I could see Kelsey looking visibly sad because she wasn't included. Later, I told my husband that Kelsey should go too and that there was no reason to exclude her. He said he just wants some guy time with his son and nephew and that men need to have their time away from women. I took offence at that comment, which led to an argument between us. I told him that Kelsey needs to go, otherwise I won't approve of money being taken out of our family vacation budget to exclude some of our family. My sister-in-law texted me saying I was controlling and ruining a good experience for the boys by being petty. I told her I wasn't being petty, I just didn't want my kid to feel left out. Am I the idiot? Edit, my husband and kids do things together. Ironically, I'm the only one usually excluded from their outings unless it's an actual family vacation or activity. Not the idiot. You said that your daughter favours the exact kind of stuff your husband, sons and cousins like to do and will be doing on this boys-only trip. Of course she feels left out. She's being excluded from something she normally wouldn't be excluded from based on something she has no control over. And your husband and sister-in-law are the ones making this weirder than it needs to be. If your husband and his sister get their way here, you need to come up with something equivalent you can do with your daughter that can be a you two only thing. I don't think you got it. It's a question of whether it's okay to exclude one of the kids simply because she's a girl. It's not about fairness, it's about sexism. Hubby told this tween, tomboy, that she's part of the women that he and the boys need time away from, which is just telling her that her father and brother see her as a chore to escape rather than a person they enjoy spending time with. You are the idiot. It sounds like the sister-in-law may just want her son to have a positive male role model, considering she is a single mom. You can't possibly be this dense. The trip seems to have nothing to do with your son and husband and everything to do with your nephew. He's a tween. Maybe he's not comfortable around girls. Your daughter is a girl. Maybe he wants to talk about personal, puberty things with a grown-up male. Fair doesn't mean equal. Your daughter has a wonderfully involved father. 1 week away doesn't break that bond. And as a mother, you should be able to teach her this, but it sounds like you can't wrap your head around it. It also sounds like you personally don't want to spend time with your own daughter. You could spend a weekend enjoying her hobbies on a mother-daughter trip, learning how to fish or going to some sports game. My wife and I are both 27. I live with my sister, who's 26. We both live in the same house. The house we live in we inherited from our grandpa. Instead of selling it, we should live in it as it's quite big, and maybe in the future we will sell it and earn more profit. But nowadays my sister and my wife fight quite a lot, and it's mostly me who breaks it up. My sister doesn't like my wife. She said she doesn't like her because she does nothing, she doesn't have a job, and she sits all day because maids do all the work. Yesterday my sister asked my wife to leave. She said she was tired of her. I said my wife is not going anywhere, and why does it matter if she's not working? Our bills are paid and my wife working wouldn't make any difference. She said that my wife is just a freeloader. I told her that if she had a problem, then we should sell the house and move on, but my sister started crying. She said that she was trying to help me and my wife, but I didn't listen to her concern. Instead, I became aggressive towards her. Am I the idiot for defending my wife after my sister tried to kick her out? Not the idiot. It's time to sell the house. Or if your sister wants to stay, she needs to buy you out. You got married. How you and your wife choose to navigate your marriage is your choice, not your sister's. But it's clear these two women can't live together. It's too much pointless drama. Does your wife at least contribute to maintaining the house? Does she cook, clean, etc., at the very least, being she doesn't work? Since it's not necessary for her to work, what does your wife actually do? And does your sister do something also, or just witch at your wife? Because telling your wife to leave without talking to you first is crossing a line. You can't keep defending your wife without seeing your sister's point of view. You are the idiot. All of that you're asking is none of your business or OP's sister's business. Sister needs to stop and get out of her brother's marriage and go find her own. The wife is not a guest. Half of the home belongs to her and her husband. That's how marriage works. It's none of the sister's business because she's not part of their marriage. How is this none of the sister's business if she lives in the house with them? Regarding an inheritance property, the wife has no legal right to the home. More than likely, their deed doesn't allow the property to be transferred to marital partners. If either sibling dies, the half that they owned will go to their kids or spouse and not their sibling's spouse. You are the idiot, OP. It sounds like the wife is dead weight. Lucky for her. OP apparently likes that, so they should move out. Let Sis live a real life without a 27-year-old princess constantly squatting in the living room. My family is all staying with my parents next month, and my two siblings insist they can't share rooms with their children. One sibling wants 3 rooms, one for them and one for their kindergartner, one for their toddler. The other sibling said they need one for them and one for their baby, who won't sleep in a cot in the same room as their parents. Now he's transitioned to his own room at home. Therefore, this means that my parents are saying they will just sleep on the sofa and give their room to my sister, which I feel is ridiculous as one of the little ones will be in a crib in a room with an unused double bed. I'm staying in a hotel nearby with my child and husband, as our little one doesn't sleep well, and we don't want to be the reason everybody is woken up. I told them this was ridiculous and somebody should share a room with their child, as my poor parents in their 70s shouldn't be sleeping on the sofa. They think I don't understand and I'm being an idiot by guilting them I'm not staying there, so I shouldn't have an opinion. Therefore, am I the idiot? Edit, no, this is only for 2 nights. Why can't 2 little kids not sleep in the same room to begin with, and why don't the parents sleep with the baby? Do you smell nonsense wafting around here? I know I do. Whatever, not the idiot. You're right, it's ridiculous, and you're just looking out for your parents. Lots of nonsense. Maybe it's just me, but I can't help thinking of all the laundry that the grandparents in their 70s will have to do after the family leave. Am I counting 5 bedrooms plus a sofa? These visiting adults need to put their big boy-girl panties on and suffer for 2 days so that their parents can be comfortable. Oh, for goodness sake, if you really want to make a point and have the money to do it, offer to get your parents a room at the hotel where you're staying. When your siblings protest, remind them that you aren't taking your parents away from them. Your siblings push them out of the house, and if neither sibling will give a room back to your 70s-aged parents and take the couch instead, then there's nothing more to discuss. However, you're all adults now. It's not your home anymore. You are guests in their home, and they will no longer settle sibling disputes because that's no longer their role. You're in a position where you might want to choose to be the one protecting your parents from the bullies now.